Bonjour, my name's Alice, welcome back to my channel. If you recognize that background, that means you've been following me for a little while. I'm back in France for a little bit. I left Galway and I can't help but get emotional about it. I've been filming this intro 4 or 5 times now. Ugh. You may be familiar with the $100 fast fashion hauls, and you may also have seen the videos commenting on how dangerous they are. It seems to me that the criticism around consumerism either comes as some sort of individual behavioral problem. Minimalists usually go with that one, aka take back control, buy less, or as part of an anti-capitalist sentiment, aka fast fashion is bad, it is detrimental for the planet, it is exploitative, we need to get rid of it, and in order to do that we need to get rid of the entire system. So we have an individualistic versus collective approach of how to end consumerism. But what is clear is that the majority of people do recognize that fast fashion is bad and something needs to be done, but progress is very, very slow. In fact, the long periods of lockdown forced us to move from the public to the private and allowed consumerism to creep into another area of retail. Basically, homeware is the new fast fashion. But before we move on with the video, I'd like to introduce you to today's sponsor, Squarespace. I'm super happy to partner with them again for a new video. Squarespace is an all-in-one platform for building your brand and growing your business online. As I announced a few days ago, I'm writing a book at the moment, and I'm using and will be using Squarespace as a landing page for that activity, as well as what I do on YouTube. Squarespace designs look very professional, and you get to pick from a variety of templates to perfectly fit your preferred website aesthetic. Once that is set up, you can connect all your social media accounts and share content between different platforms. I'm also thinking about doing a sort of monthly newsletter or diary so that you can follow me as I write the book. And guess what? Squarespace email campaigns are such a great tool for that. They can fit your website aesthetic and make you stand out in any inbox. Finally, if you're a data nerd like me, you will love the analytics features, including page views, traffic sources, time on site, most read content, audience geography, and more. Check out squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/alice.cappelleyt to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring the video, and now let's go back to it. People change their outfits every day now, so why not changing your home decor every month? It's spring, let's do a pastel makeover, autumn's coming, let's go full dark academia, Valentine's Day, Christmas. The rise of fast homeware is rather new. IKEA has created that market decades ago, but now fast fashion brands are getting on it. Zara created its home line in 2021, 2022 for H&M and Primark. Shein created it in 2021, not sure about that, but it's the same for Boohoo, Pretty Little Things, Misguided, Urban Outfitters. Interior trends now change as fast as fashion, and consumerism is living its best life. Okay, so that is the context, and now I want to dig a little bit deeper into it. And I'm going to read you a book opening sentence that maybe some of you comrades will recognize. The wealth of the societies in which the capitalist mode of production prevails presents itself as an immense accumulation of commodities. This is the first sentence of Marx Capital. In it, Marx explained that the wealth of a society is correlated with the amount of stuff it owns. Big factories, luxurious buildings, big sports and concert venues, but also the stuff its people own. A big car, a big house, but capitalist modes of production, so mass production, delocation, transportation, and labor at minimal cost, have also democratized the idea of owning stuff. Shein, one of the most popular fast fashion seller that is based in China and sells worldwide at a very cheap price, is a good example of that. It means that you can own a lot of commodities, clothes, shoes, homeware, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you are super wealthy. On the other hand, look at the richest people in the world. They don't look like they own a lot of stuff, but that's their brand, minimalism, focusing on the essential. Now look at this other sentence. In societies where modern conditions of production prevail, life is presented as an immense accumulation of spectacles. So that is the first sentence of The Society of the Spectacle by Guy Debord. The parallelism between these two sentences draws attention to what makes them different. Commodities are turned into spectacles. But what does he mean when he says spectacles? Considered in its own terms, the spectacle is an affirmation of appearances and an identification of all human social life with appearances. This kind of brings us back to something I've discussed in another video, Riesman concept of other-directedness, meaning that People want to get validation by their peers, and this has become a social character, almost a personality trait. Appearances play a huge role in that. The way you dress or the way your home looks like is gonna get you validated by your social group. What is important to point out though is that my social group may not be the same as yours. They might have different expectations. The spectacle is not a collection of images. It is a social relation between people that is mediated by images. My social group is very different from that of Mark Zuckerberg, and Mark Zuckerberg's social group is very different from people who regularly wear fast fashion. But the way each of us appear in society strengthens our relationship with our social group, or can help us join another social group. Let me explain. What's new with the society of the spectacle, and what Debord really tried to capture in this book, is that commodities aren't just a sign of wealth, but also how you want to present yourself to the world, the spectacle. You can find videos on how to make things look expensive on a budget. On the other hand, Mark Zuckerberg and the tech bros chose to adopt a normie, minimalistic aesthetic that clearly doesn't scream billionaire. In both cases, these people perform a different social class for pleasure or for their own interest, so that they look wealthier than they are, or on the other hand, they look more relatable, more normal than they are. But that's a spectacle, these are just appearances, it's a choice. Now some of you might ask, or maybe none of you, but I need to make a transition here, so why are you making a video specifically on homeware? Is there anything special about it? And the answer is yes. The home is super intimate, those four walls creating a private bubble, and what's in there tells so much about you and your personality. I thought about this idea, but sharing your home with people in real life or publicly, online, etc. is kind of similar to an aside in drama. It makes the fourth wall disappear and let the audience be part of the spectacle. Back in the old days, French kings and queens would regularly let members of the court enter their bedrooms to see them waking up in the morning or going to bed at night. Among other queens, Marie Antoinette's apartments really blurred the line between public and private. Queens would give birth in public, and the people who were there at the time were the most privileged of the court. Flash forward 21st century, celebrities now do house tours on AD, and anybody can watch now. I guess we're making progress, friends. Now look at this picture of George W. Bush. Once again we connect the public and the private. George is sitting with his family, the house looks very neat, the furniture looks expensive, everything is in order. That is the image he wants to convey to his potential voters, meaning that his private self will be his public and political self. But it's a spectacle, it's all about appearances. Again, same thing when you watch a bedroom makeover. You are encouraged to comment and share your opinion, forming identity and group identification through appearances and external validation. We're circling back to it again, all the directedness. Now let's leave the spectacle for a little bit and approach the rise of homeware in a different way, aka a need for creativity. What sparked the bedroom makeovers videos that have become very popular in the past few years is basically boredom. The repetitiveness of working at home or studying at home in the exact same environment was super boring, and fast homeware managed to fit in there to challenge that repetitiveness, therefore leading to more and more consumerism. It feels like whatever happens, as long as we work with a free market economy, heavily relying on advertisement, there will always be one way or another to recreate those same patterns of overproduction. Simply because commodities have become a means of self-expression, and we are constantly incentivized to reinvent ourselves through appearances. New year, new self, new girlfriend or boyfriend, new self, going to uni, time to glow up, new work, new self. Is that bad? Some people would say yes, because the consequences of overconsumption on the environment, on the exploitation of workers, is very problematic. But others argue that it's not that bad and that actually we should accelerate it. That fast fashion and fast homeware are part of the acceleration of capitalism that could cause its downfall. Accelerationism was anticipated by Karl Marx in 1948, but was then popularized in the 1970s by Guattari and Deleuze in their book Anti-Oedipus. Basically it argues that capital growth and technological progress should intensify to render the social revolution inevitable. So does that mean that we should let it happen or even accelerate it? I'll say it again, but given the state of climate change, the exploitation and slavery going on in the world for those industries. I mean, we actually have to do something. Whether it's activism, putting pressure on those companies, promoting and democratizing ethical and sustainable ways of consuming, that's what the degrowth movement advocates for. And it's not perfect, it's true, and it's going to take a lot of effort, but it's a different option from accelerationism and closer to what current left-wing parties all over the world encourage. Broy made an excellent video on why nobody will ever win the fast fashion debate, and I think it extends to the fast homeware debate and every single destructive invention capitalism will come up with, but that doesn't mean we should stay passive, and many things can be done, many things have already been done. I'll link a few resources in the description box if you want to learn more about that. That's it for today. Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you to my little sister Jude who helped me on this one. You can go and follow her on Instagram. She loves that external validation and I do too. So you can also like this video and subscribe if it's not done already. Big thank you to my patrons for their support. Special thank to Carla, Alberto, Jochelle, Oswald, Benjamin, Calvin, Detuned Piano, Was at Witch, and Jay. Last thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring the video. The link to the offer will be in the description box. And yeah, I'll see you next week. Salut! It means that you can own a lot of commodities, but doesn't necessarily are super healthy. What?